Devaya. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 84, verse is 20. Oh, I got the wrong verse here.
24 and 25.
24 and 25. Okay. Yeah, I got the wrong verse. Okay, anyway, never mind. hmm. Okay, I'm looking for it on my database. Got it. Yatashayana purushatmanam gunatattvatvigna mama trinadri yapatam nave darahitam param evam tvanamamatre sheshvindiyai ye haya maya yavipamachito averas mityapadavat. A sleeping person imagines an alternative reality for himself and seeing himself as having various names and forms, forgets his waking identity, which is different from the dream. Similarly, the senses of ones whose consciousness is bewildered by illusion perceive only the names and forms of material objects, as the person loses his memory and cannot know you. Purport. Just as a person's dream is a secondary reality created from the stock of his memories and desires, so this universe exists as an inferior creation of the Supreme Lord, in no way separate from him. And just as a person who awakens from sleep experiences the higher reality of his waking life, so the Supreme Lord also has his distinct higher reality beyond everything we know of this world, in his own words. Mayatatamiram savam jagar vyaktamurtinam atstani sarvutani nachahang deshavasitaha achamatstani bhuttani pashme yogmaishanam bhutabrinch bhutasa mama bhutpavana. By me, in my manifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everything, I am not part of this cosmic manifestation, for myself is the very source of creation. Mukam karudi vachalam bangalam kategirim yakipantaham bande shiguram tiratarnam Amagana tibrandasya gananjara shalakaya chakshuminitam yena tasamai Shri Gurave Namaha. And so this purport and verse is about how you're asleep, and when you're sleeping, you imagine an alternative reality with various names and forms, and we forget our waking identity, which is distinct from the dream. So we are sleeping. Everyone is sleeping in this world, actually, because they have forgotten their real identity. Just like at nighttime, you sleep and you may forget, and you may forget who you are, and you may have a different name and form even. So in this world, we go through life, birth after birth, getting different names and forms, and forgetting who we really are. And the reality actually is that we have a relationship with Krishna. Because we forget our memory, then we cannot know Krishna, and we cannot see Krishna. It's very, very difficult. Lord Chaitanya is calling, especially tomorrow. Gaur Purnima, wake up! Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago. Wake up! Sleeping so, how long will you sleep on the lap of the witch called Maya? Yes, we are sleeping. We must wake up. We must wake up and see Krishna in our daily life from moment to moment and hour to hour and day by day, day to day. We should wake up and see Krishna. He's the center. We think we're the center. So we see ourselves. Yes, today I have so many problems. Yes, I got to do this, I got to do that. But Srila Prabhupada says we have only one problem, and that is how to accept Krishna. We must accept Krishna in our day. Don't forget him. Don't forget him. So, okay, so the first day, I was looking for a guru in 1970. I was going guru shopping, and actually, I tried many different gurus. So one guru told me, "Pay me some money, I give you a secret mantra and chant it morning 10 minutes and evening 10 minutes and rest of the day, do whatever you like. And in 6 months, you can become God." I tried, didn't work. So then I went to the temple and I said, "Okay, what is your process?" And they said, "Our process is chant, dance, and eat." I said, "Okay, if I chant, dance, and eat, what can I hope to achieve?" And they said, "You will see God." And I said, "Yeah, I want to see God. I don't want to be God. I want to see the reality. I want to see the truth." So yes, we want to see Krishna. So yes, and by performing devotional service, gradually, and we develop love for Krishna, the last step, then we see Krishna at every moment. Gita says, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam. If you engage in devotional service, your devotional service becomes more pleasing to you, and the Lord will speak to you. Dadami, Buddhi Yoga, he'll give you intelligence, how to advance. In 1976, one Prabhupada's disciple told Srila Prabhupada, "There is one common philosophy held by a lot of religious groups. God can be understood directly from within, and no guru is necessary." So Prabhupada didn't like that. He said, "He's a rascal, and one who accepts him is a rascal too. How do you think God is speaking to him? How do you accept it? God talks with whom? Those who have already become devotee of God. One who is 24 hours engaged in service of the Lord with love and faith. God talks with him." And so in our scriptures, we see there was one devotee who got to see God, Chaketu. First, he was instructed by his gurus, and then he followed their instructions, and now he has come to the stage of seeing the Lord face to face. And Prabhupada says in one purport, and let me see, I think, yes, third canto it is. I think so. No, it's, fourth canto. That if a disciple is very serious to execute the mission of the spiritual master, he immediately associates with the Supreme Personality of Godhead by Vani or Vapu. This is the only secret of success in seeing Supreme Personality of Godhead. Instead of being eager to see the Lord in some bush of Vrindavan, of course, I live in Vrindavan, there's hardly any bushes left. That was when Prabhupada wrote the purport. While at the same time engaging in sense gratification, if one instead sticks to the principle of following the words of the spiritual master, he will see the Supreme Lord without difficulty. Yes. And not only that, you will get liberation. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says, if I am engaged in devotional service, I can see you everywhere. And as far as liberation is concerned, she's waiting at my doorstep with folded hands. And everything and material conveniences, they also come automatically. So there's actually three ways to see Krishna. This verse, the purport, Prabhupada quotes Bhagavad Gita, that one way to see Krishna is through his all-pervading potency, but actually he is aloof from that. He is in a different place. So there are three ways you can see Krishna. One is as Brahman. There is one verse in 6th Canto, 16th chapter, verse 51, that says, Aham vai sarvabhutani bhutatma bhutabhavana. Well, first, Aham vai sarvabhutani. I'm everywhere. Living entities are everywhere. And Krishna is everywhere in his effulgence and material energy, spiritual energies everywhere. And then Bhutatma Bhutabhavana, he's also in the heart as super soul. Shabda Brahma, Param Brahma Mamo Vishasati Tanu. And in this world, we can see him in two ways. One is the holy name and Bhagavatam, the sound. The sound vibration is Bhagavatam and the holy name. And another way to see Krishna is Param Brahma, the deity. So these two forms, these are Bhagavan. These are the highest. We can actually see, we don't even have to wait to see Krishna, just like Prachetas, they are seeing Vishnu. And we can see immediately in Kali Yuga, just go to the temple and see the deity, chant Hare Krishna. So Krishna is everything. He's everywhere. Why can't we see him? Because our eyes are covered. Kunti Devi says there's the Maya Javani Kachanam. There's a Maya curtain that's covering our eyes. Just like the deities are covered. Sometimes when they open the curtain, you can see. So our eyes are covered by a curtain of Maya. And then again, we're covered by Agya. We're ignorant. When Brahma first started creation, he created 5 coverings of ignorance: false ego, anger, death. All these are 5 coverings, and one is losing your identity, like this verse is talking about. Losing your identity. Another reason why we can't see Krishna is because he is a hoaxaja. He's beyond this world, and we're in this world. And another reason why we cannot see Krishna is that we have the vision of mudhas, or rascals, rascal vision. And these are problems. And I can give you one example. When Srila Prabhupada was lecturing on the West Coast, there was one hippie in the audience, and he was wearing a huge dark cloak to the ground. And on the cloak were suns and moons and stars, because he thought he was controlling the universe. So he was glaring at Prabhupada during the class, and afterwards he asked Prabhupada a question: "Can you see God?" And Srila Prabhupada said, "No, because you are in the way." So your false ego gets in the way of seeing God, because all we see is our own self, our own false ego. And so, but we can see Krishna face to face by accepting Krishna's instructions in Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. And so the first way to see God is to see him everywhere in the universal form, and in our life, how he comes. And the second way is Paramatma. He's a super soul. He's giving us, he's letting us enjoy. He's giving us facility. Just like I see here in the West, in Vrindavan, the dogs run loose, but here you have to have a collar and a leash. So people are walking their dogs in the parks, and the dog can run. He can go to the bathroom. He can have fun and enjoy, but the master is just waiting for him to finish so he can take him back home. So we are like the dog on the leash. Super Soul is waiting for us to turn to him and obey him and go back home. And he's giving us facility. Yeah, he's only asking a leaf, a flower, fruit, and water. That's all he wants, and he will accept your offering. Um, another way, another analogy Prabhupada gave about Super Soul is like he's an expert director of a play. And that's this verse talks about losing your identity. So the more an expert director makes the actor forget his real identity to become the part he's playing, the more he forgets, the more he plays his part nicely. So the more we forget who we are in this world, we can play our part: man, woman, black, white, teacher, king, professor, bank manager. Yeah, because we forgot who we are. And so we got a different label here in this world, many labels, not just one. Yes. So we're forgetting. But Krishna comes in Gita. He says, don't become entangled. Sarvadharman pritaja mamekam sharanam vraja. So Prabhupada translates this in about 100 different ways. And one time he said, don't become entangled in these material activities. So that's giving up all varieties of religion. We want to forget and entangle ourselves. But Krishna helps us. He makes us remember, he makes us forget, 15th chapter, 15th verse. So if we want to revive our consciousness, Krishna will also help us too. We have to make our choice. And so the Super Soul gives instructions to the sincere unalloyed devotee, how he can progress more and more. He's in our heart, but in the heart of a devotee, he reveals himself as ever increasingly new. And the devotee becomes inspired, and also he likes to share his realizations. When we wake up, there's an awakening of Krishna consciousness when we wake up and remember who we are. And this is awarded only if you're convinced by devotional service about Krishna's nature. He says, Jama karma chimedivyam evam yovet itatfadaha. Anyone who understands my birth and activities will not come back here to this world and forget me. He will remember me and go back to Godhead. So isn't that wonderful? So what the devotees like to do, uh, uh, the devotees like to talk about Krishna. They like to have an exchange of thoughts and realizations. Srila Prabhupada said, just like great scientists exchange their views and discuss the results of their research. So this gives pleasure to Krishna, and he hears us talking and exchanging, discussing about him. So yeah, and one purport, I was just remembering one purport in second canto of Prayers of Shukadev. Prabhupada talks about the Mayavadis, the impersonalists, and he talks about, there's a mental speculator exchange. That was very prophetic. Can you imagine a mental speculator exchange? And we have it today. It's called Facebook. What is on your mind? And you've joined the mental speculator exchange. Yes, but we are here on a different channel. We are on the Bhagavatam channel, and we are having a philosophical discussion about Krishna. Isn't that wonderful? So so we heard about Brahman, we heard about Paramatma a bit. So now let us hear about the wonderful forms of Krishna, which are actually Bhagavan, and which we can perceive even today with our senses. Yes, yes. So the verse in sixth canto talks about Shabda Brahma and Parama Brahma, holy name and the deity. The holy name, of course, is more merciful. No hard and fast rules. We can chant anytime, anywhere. It's free. And we can worship Lord Chaitanya, who will be appearing tomorrow in that way. Bhagavatam in the beginning, first canto, third chapter, verse 44, says, simple hearing is not all. One must realize the text with proper attention. The word Nivishta means Sutta Goswami drank the juice of Bhagavatam through his ears. Yes, did you know Bhagavatam is juice? Yes, it is described. Nigama kalpa taror galitam phalam. Shukamakaram ritada rasam ritam. Pibata Bhagavatam rasam alayam mura aho. Yes. So the great liberated souls, they like to drink Bhagavatam. Actually, it's a fruit. It's on the desire tree of Vedic literature. But that fruit has been picked and given down carefully through disciplic succession. And Shukadev Goswami has digested it, and it has become rasa, or juice. Just like in the spiritual world, Srila Prabhupada was once asked by Gurudas, what are the fruits on the desire tree? What are they like? And Srila Prabhupada said, there is no skin and there is no seed. It's just all juice. So Bhagavatam is a ripened fruit on the desire tree of Vedic knowledge. And we are drinking it today. Vivata Bhagavatam Rasam Alayam. It's eternal. It's eternal juice, not the juice you get from Publix or the supermarket. This is eternal juice that we are drinking through our ears today. And so Bhagavatam says we should hear with rapt attention from the real person and you can at once realize the presence of Krishna in every page. Now there's some conditions apply here. No one can give rapt attention who is not pure in mind. No one can be pure in mind who is not pure in action. No one can be pure in action who is not pure in eating, sleeping, making, and defending, but somehow or other. So that's, if we can't be pure like that, we got, there's a clause here, somehow or other, that may be us. If someone hears with rapt attention from the right person at the very beginning, one can assuredly see Lord Krishna in person in the pages of Bhagavatam. Yes, so the holy name is also Krishna. It's also Krishna. There's a story that, there was one beggar and he wanted to see God. No, he wanted to see gold. Sorry, not God. Yeah, we want to see God. He wanted to see gold. And he went to the king. And he said, I would like to see gold. What does it look like? And the king said, sure. Just go up these stairs and turn left and open the door and you will see gold in my treasury. So the beggar went up the stairs, turned left, opened the door. He saw, oh, gold. And then he looked back and he saw, oh, the stairs are also made of gold. Wow. So that's happening. He didn't know what gold was, so he didn't know. But actually, our process of devotional services is Krishna also. It's also gold. And Krishna is gold. Oh, we don't know what Krishna looks like. So we don't realize when we chant the holy name, it's Krishna. And one day he will come before us while we're chanting. Isn't that wonderful? A nice goal. And he will reveal himself through the holy name. And we owe this path to the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, who we can celebrate tomorrow, and to Srila Prabhupada also. So, yes, there is a verse in Bhagavatam 3:25-36 about seeing the deities. Now, we talked a bit about hearing. Let's talk about seeing through the ears. Let's talk about seeing through the eyes. Upon seeing the charming forms of the Lord, smiling and attractive, and hearing his very pleasing words, the pure devotee almost loses all other consciousness, and he becomes absorbed in devotional service. Thus, in spite of his unwillingness, he attains liberation without separate endeavor. So in the purport, Prabhupada says there's three classes of devotees: first class, second class, third class. And even the third class devotees are liberated souls. Isn't that wonderful? If you're a third class devotee, you're liberated when you go and see the deity, because then you can forget everything when you see how beautiful is Krishna. Now you can lose all other consciousness, and you forget your wrong identity when you see Krishna. I'm a servant of Krishna. Yes, yes. Of course, Prabhupada quotes Gita that you can also see Krishna by drinking water. Krishna is the taste of water. So, yeah, and eating prasadam, that's another way to see Krishna. See Krishna by eating prasad. Just like if somebody shows you some prasad, oh, let me see, what do you have? It's not by the eyes. Let me see means let me taste. Let me taste. So probably in his lecture on that Gita verse, he said, let me taste God. Let me taste. How to taste Krishna? By chanting the holy name, by eating prasadam. Two ways. Eating prasadam. Sri Prabhupada said, if you just taste prasadam, you will see God personally. He'll talk with you. Can you imagine? But you have to be very devotional when you are eating the prasadam, of course. Don't just gulp it down. It's so holy name and deity. That's two ways to see Krishna. I would like to share something with you, if I can find it. Yeah, I just thought of it. Okay, so yeah, two things I want to share with you since I have time. One of our devotees, one of my godbrothers, I wrote a letter to Prabhupada. Well, actually, Prabhupada, he was preaching in Germany. He was just a newly he went from America to Germany to preach. And Prabhupada said to him, why are my books not being printed in Germany? And then the devotee said, well, I thought, well, I can't speak German. I can't translate them. And then I understood, oh, Prabhupada wants his books translated into German, and I have to figure out how to do it. So then he wrote back, what do I do, Prabhupada? And Prabhupada said, chant Hare Krishna, and Krishna will give you intelligence. So the devotee said, well, that was almost always the answer I got. Prabhupada wasn't the type of manager or leader who would give details. He inspired you to use your creative intelligence. In fact, Srila Prabhupada said there's a kind of individual genius in every living entity. So when I looked up the word genius in the dictionary, of course, this was 50 years ago, the definition of genius was indwelling deity. Genius is not something you or I or anyone possesses. Genius means Krishna. So if by the inspiration of the spiritual master, we make ourselves receptive to the inflow of Krishna, Lord in the heart, our genius, then he will tell us how something can be done. So this devotee who was writing to Prabhupada was actually a high school dropout. And after a couple of years, he was lecturing to the Harvard University faculty. And so this is, devotee can do anything. So Srila Prabhupada has said, written a letter, our prayer to Super Soul. Simply our prayer should be, my dear Krishna, please remind me to always chant your holy name. Please do not put me into forgetfulness. You are sitting within me as Super Soul, so you can put me into forgetfulness or into remembering you. So please do not put me into forgetfulness. Please always remind me to chant. Even you send me to hell, it doesn't matter as long as I can always chant Hare Krishna. And Prabhupada said, Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda are singing one very nice song, requesting everyone to please chant Hare Krishna and come along with them. So that is our request to everyone. So I'll stop here. If you have any questions or comments, you can ask at this point.
Narayani Devi Dasi, Prabhu, thank you so much. Such a wonderful class. And my takeaway is that we have plenty of ways to see Krishna, but there's also plenty of ways in which we can't see Krishna because of those layers of ignorance that Naughty Brahma created. So where do we go from there? We can see, we cannot see. How do we go about this? Can we see Krishna or no?
Srila Prabhupada said, just go to the temple and and have a seat. In fact, there's 9 processes of devotional service. About Shukadev Goswami, in his verse, Gita is like a seed, Bhagavatam's like a sprouting plant with flowers and fruits. So Shukadev, in his prayers for empowerment to speak Bhagavatam, he said, yes, you can. He added one more way, one more to the 9 process devotional service. He added one more, and that is Aikshata, and that is seeing Krishna. So how do you do that? There's 2 ways. 2 ways to see Krishna. Just like today, we were quoted that verse. 2 ways to see Krishna: Shabda Brahma and Param Brahma. You see through your ears by hearing and chanting, and you see with your eyes the deities. And Prabhupada said you can also see Krishna by eating prasadam. Isn't that wonderful? If you taste prasadam, you're tasting Krishna. If you're chanting the holy name, you're tasting Krishna. Tongue has 2 ways to taste. Taste Krishna by chanting, or taste Krishna by eating prasadam. Well, we can see Krishna that way too, or drinking water. Every time we drink water, we are tasting Krishna also. And so this is how you can see Krishna. Just there's see him in your daily life. When we were trained as new devotees, every time before we drank a glass of water, we had to say, before we drank the glass, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu. Now that kind of got out of hand when devotees used to go on traveling Sankirtan. And they would go to the supermarket and say Shri Vishnu to the whole supermarket, except for meat and eggs and fish. And they could eat the whole supermarket then, they thought. Anyway, but yeah, that's how we can see Krishna. And yeah, chant attentively, and Krishna, you will be able to see Krishna. Okay, next question.
Next question is from Bhima Prabhu.
Okay.
Haribo Narayani
Bible.
Prabhujini Haribo.
That's what it was.
This was purely the a manifestation of someone who is breathing Krishna consciousness. My mind could not keep up. And I actually had to step by the side of the track and take a breather and try to catch up later. Wonderful. You're just overflowing. The cup overfloweth is what's happening here.
Prabhupada's birthday.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, I know that you probably have quite a bit of knowledge to draw from, whether it be experience, a pastime of Prabhupada, or even Shastra. And that is the fact that these things that we do, eating, going to the temple to see the deity, chanting the holy name, and tasting prasad, and singing the holy name, of course, in a congregation, that these things are external, but what's really happening when we say we want to see Krishna is that we have to have the eyes covered with the salve, and that salve coming from our heart, meaning that this process of seeing Krishna is internal. There's an internal sight. There's an internal vision that Krishna reveals. Could you speak on this?
Yeah. Well, we go through the process from Shraddha to Prema. So Shraddha, we have a little bit, little faith, and then we associate with devotees, we can see Krishna a little bit better. And then we start doing devotional service, and then we can see Krishna a lot better. And then in Arti Nivritti, all the doubts come, all the deviations come, and we do have a hard time seeing Krishna. That's the most difficult time. But then we need to see where is the light. The light is Bhagavatam. The light is Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. We have to go to the light if we want to see Krishna. And if we don't have enough light ourselves, then we can go to a place where there is light. You have to go to Bhagavatam. You have to go to the deities. You have to pray. You have to go to the devotees and ask for their help. And then when we come to Nishta, it's kind of like, okay, it's like the first step in self-realization. We're in the mode of goodness, and things look a lot better than from the mode of ignorance and passion. And then when we come to Ruchi, we can see Krishna everywhere. Everything reminds us of Krishna. Like Prabhupada said, a mother, if she sees the shoes of her child, immediately she thinks of her child. She thinks of her child. So, and so the devotee, yeah, sure, Prabhupada, let me share something with you. How does a pure devotee see things in this world? Prabhupada was on a morning walk in London, and he wanted some twigs for brushing his teeth. So a devotee broke one twig, then another, and was going to break a third. And Prabhupada said, don't disturb more than necessary. So then devotee asked, well, what does a devotee see when he looks at a tree? So Prabhupada said, what you see is the body of the tree. And there's a soul living in the body of the tree. But then again, the soul is never alone. Ishvara Sarabhutanam, in the heart of that soul is Krishna. So the devotee said, that's my Prabhupada. Looking at the tree, he would not just see, he would see the soul and Krishna in the heart of that soul. He didn't want to disturb that tree more than necessary. So he may see the things of the world, but he cares for them too. Because he saw the soul in the tree, he took care of that tree. He didn't want to break too many branches and disturb that tree too much. So when devotee sees the world, he sees Krishna there, and he wants to take care of all living entities. Prabhupada was concerned for the insects, the spiders. One insect was on the floor, and he said, he told Shuddhakirti, "Oh, I think that insect is hungry. Why don't you take him and put him on a flower? He's moving slowly. Put him on a flower, a maha flower, and let him eat." So, vision of the pure devotee. Okay, somebody else has their hand up.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me okay?
Yes?
Yes. Well, the style of your class, you're like frolicking. Frolicking.
Good early in the morning, I'm awake, you know?
I can hardly keep up with the nectar you're pouring out. Thank you so much for class. Remember, we liked it. You were talking about how you went to these different gurus and you said, "What's your process?" And then what do you
Yeah.
get? Happens, you know. So it occurred to me, I'm praying to Krishna what to say. He reminded me of one devotee, a new devotee, Radha Swami brought to stay in the temple. We used to call him Little Bird. And he was asking, he was chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. He said, now what? What happens after you chant Hare Krishna? This seems like a very preliminary, like it seems like the first step. And what do you get? Like, just like you were asking, he was saying, oh, well, all right, now I do this. And then after I do this, then what happens? And I was really like, it didn't occur to me what to, and I'm praying and Krishna let me give something to share with him. I said, well, what we've heard from Prabhupada is that when they said, Prabhupada, what do you get with chanting? He said, chanting. And I was like,
Right.
and I said, so what we hear is that there are different stages. The Vaidhi Bhakti stage where you just do it because it's your duty and you agree to do it and it's a medicine and it's kind of like almost mechanical, but you're trying to give yourself to Krishna's process. And then Raganuga Bhakti. You want to explain Raganuga Bhakti, how spontaneous, how people become mad? They don't want to stop chanting. The chanting that they do in the beginning is a little bit rote, but then later there's an eruption and a joyfulness.
Yeah, I would like to comment on Raganuga. If you read the first chapter of Nectar of Devotion, it's described there's sadhana, Vaidhi sadhana, and Raganuga sadhana. So, Srila Prabhupada explains what is Raganuga sadhana is when, like, suppose you're a pujari, and then you think, oh, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna get this special silk, and then I'm gonna get all these flowers and I'm gonna put them here and here and here. When you start thinking like that, or you're a cook and you think, oh, Krishna likes this, or tomorrow Lord Chaitanya likes to eat spinach. I'm gonna make spinach for Lord Chaitanya, 4 or 5 kinds. So when you start thinking like that, that's Raganuga sadhana. And you start, going beyond your duty. And you start, being very creative, like we said, use your creative intelligence. Okay. Any other questions or comments?
We called him Little Bird, and in the backyard there was, I don't know what kind of birds they are, but in the spring they make a nest, and then there's eggs, and then they sit on the eggs, and then these little birds pop out of the eggs, and within 28 days they're ready to fly. They grow up, and right before they start jumping out of the nest, there's just like this little, you know, jumping up and down, flapping and no flying. But then there's a stage where they actually start. First one is usually just kind of they fall down while they're flying, but then they're flying in the sky. So there's definitely are progressive levels of experiencing the holy name, and we look forward to that and see how people are actually joyful and exuberant and actually completely like crazy. Some of my godbrothers who are like God intoxicated personalities. like you.
I'm just trying to be a devotee as usual. But it's good to wake up to Bhagavatam class, yes.
Well, glories to Prabhupada.
Yeah, there is actually Prabhupada took the analogy of a bird. The bird in Sanskrit is Dvija, twice born. And he said, when you take initiation, then you become twice born also. So he said, we also have, when you take up spiritual life, you have two births. We're born in the eggshell of ignorance, Srila Prabhupada said. And everyone is born Shudra, Jamana Shudra. But then when you take initiation, you become Dvija, you become twice born. And so we need to do that, take initiation and practice, and then we can all become twice born Brahmanas and help Prabhupada spread this movement. Is there any other questions?
Krishna Kumari, was that a question or a smile?
Oh, I'm just in such joy. I'm just laughing. It's so beautiful. Yeah, I was thinking about what you were saying. So many things that you said. It's just bringing such bliss. Even yesterday's class, it was like then when the curtain opens after this phenomenal class and you see Radha Muralidhar, and it's just like, yes, it's like the perfect package. Yeah, I guess, my question would just be like, how to keep it simple, like how to be practical, how to keep it simple for sharing Krishna consciousness.
Well, the thing is, you have to have a strong sadhana. That's really important. That's what I fall back on, because I'm following since 54 years, get up early at 3:30 and, chant my rounds, or if I'm in a temple, I go to Mangalarti, Bhagavatam class. And you need to keep your life balanced and know your priorities. Krishna says in Gita that you have to be regulated in eating, sleeping, working, and recreation. So that's the mode of goodness, basically. And if you can do that, then you'll be free, you'll be healthy. In other words, you mitigate all miseries if you can balance these four things: eating, sleeping, working, and recreation. And so that is Krishna's instruction to us how to do it. keep it simple. That you do have these four things that you do every day, and try to balance them and keep it simple. Yes, keep it simple. And just be happy with all the small things you can do for Krishna, whatever you can do, and see him in your day, how he helps you.
And pay attention.
And pay attention. Yeah. Bhima has his hand up again, or is that from before?
That was me. I was just going to say yes on everything you said, but while doing all these things, just like Kumar Prabhujini said, she remembers the class, and then she savors the class, and then she remembers the curtains opening, and she savors the curtains opening. This is called paying attention. This is our true prayer, is when we pay attention to each moment that Krishna gives us. Even in times of trouble, it's Krishna. Even in times of comfort, it's Krishna. And
Yeah.
if you do that and pay attention to how Krishna's working in your life, then progress is assured.
Mhm.
We were seeing the beautiful reciprocation between Bhima's horses. Bhakti is a two-way street. It's a reciprocal process. Right, Bhima Prabhu?
Yeah, it's yin and yang. We give, Krishna receives, he smiles, we receive. Just his smile alone. And you can feel it in your heart when you do something good for Krishna, when you treat a devotee nicely, when you forgive,
And
when you show up.
When Krishna sends a challenge, does that mean you somehow displeased him? Narayani Devidasi.
No, oh yeah.
No, it might be a symptom of mercy. You have to see it as mercy. That's how devotees see difficulties. Um, there was that verse, 256, that he's not elated in happiness or he's not disturbed in the threefold miseries. And because he said, oh, this is Krishna's mercy, I deserve worse, but he minimized it.
It's also progressive resistance. You can't get stronger unless the weight gets heavier. So as you progress, more and more comes until the next thing you know, you're being beaten in 23 marketplaces or being dragged with the cross on your back.
Mm-hmm.
Krishna also wants that. Be prepared.
So, Krishna Chandra Prabhu.
I just wanted to add that in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, Verse 25, Kunti Mata says, I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths.
I want to program my iPhone to have Krishna Chandra be in my Siri voice. Hey, Krishna Chandra, close
Yes.
down. close down the YouTube. Put on Krishna Leela.
It would be my pleasure to serve you in electronic form, Prabhuji.
Chai. Upload your voice somewhere where we can all set it up as our Siri, Krishna Chandra.
I'll look into it.
A question, Narayani Devidasi Prabhu. You said not many bushes are left in Vrindavan. Why is that?
It's become famous. So there are now shops and housing everywhere. People want to live there. What can we do? People want to live there, and cars. Yeah, you even if you saw there was a video of the last parikrama. There's like 12 people across doing parikrama on last Ekadashi. Can you imagine 12 people across on the street, front and back? So it's become so crowded, and the bushes are pretty much almost gone. When I first came in 72, there were peacocks on the main road, which was a dirt road. It was a dirt road. Peacocks were dancing. There were no loudspeakers. Oh, Jai. Here comes Krishna.
Here comes Krishna. Darshan time, dear devotees. Turn on your cameras, please, if you can. Thank you.
Govindam Hari Krishna Namah Bhajan Vinam Pamantam Aravindadaraya Satyam Bhagavatam Samasitam Gurasunaram Gandharvakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Choha Govinda Hari Bhajami Govinda Krishna Yasya Sakalam Our spiritual master, the only way by which we can obtain pure devotion and service. Bow down to his Lord's feet, great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. Those words emanating from his lotus mouth, attaching to his lotus feet, is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. My Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates, and by him ignorance is destroyed. Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, friend of the poor and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us, and give us the shade of your lotus feet. May your fame be spread all over the three worlds. We take shelter at your lotus feet. Jai, Jai.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Hemangi, who was that person next to you? Was that your father? You're muted.
Do I look that old, Prabhuji?
You look mature, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for being here in the Zoom class.
Yeah,
He's always
I'm
listening.
always there. I'm just next to Himangi, not on the
Nice.
camera. I'm camera shy.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
family.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Okay, would anyone like to speak? Narayani Devidasi, Prabhu, are you still here? Okay, Bhima Prabhu, you're next in line. So Vijay Krishna has a question. Let me guess the question. What's the name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Is that the question, Vijay Krishna? He's connecting to audio. I thought he was unmuted. Okay, who wants to speak? Please, dear devotees, ask your questions. See, Bhima Prabhu is ready.
That's
Great.
true.
I've already said enough, but my hand is actually down.
Okay.
There's two questions.
I'm on to
Then you
look
need
at
to
Ram.
appoint somebody to take questions in the afternoon.
Ram's going to answer us. Let's ask Ram. We should have a
Ram,
whole
you
class
heard him?
called Ask Ram. He'll speak to us through his eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Devotees, please. It's your turn to shine. Mitravinda Devidasi, do you have anything to say in line with Guru Sadhan Shastra, please? Mitravinda?
Hare Krishna, I just wanted to say thank you, wonderful, wonderful devotees, for making this aspect of, I don't know, material consciousness getaway possible in the mornings. It's a really delicious breakfast, and I can move through my day with some semblance of Krishna consciousness. I appreciate you all, Hare Krishna, and especially appreciate Mother Narayani Prabhu. She's so wonderful. She's amazing. And I look forward to coming up to the Bhakti Center soon with my children. Hare Krishna.
Mitravinda Devi, thank you. We look forward to seeing you
No,
here.
and your little deity is beautiful, by the way. Very, very beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, Adipusha Prabhu, we see you're beaming with light of Bhagavatam. Would you like to speak? What happened to the car? Tell us your pastime that happened this morning and how you got there on time. But first, unmute yourself, please. Angela, you there?
It's too complicated to tell you, but Krishna saved us. We want to say hello to Ram. Ram, Hare Krishna, Ram. Ram. What is this? Who's this guy? Hare Krishna. He's so
Hare
alert.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, we're talking to you. Ram.
Ram is saying, where's his hair?
Huh? He's saying something. Okay,
He
Hare
wants
Krishna.
to grab the phone and put it in his
I'll
mouth.
talk to you later.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Adipusha Prabhu. Thank you. All right. Okay, Narottam Nitai Prabhu, we see you have your camera on. You have something to say?
Oh, nothing. I just wish I had a concha. That's all. Yeah, very much.
Jai, thank you. Okay, Narottam Nitai, please unmute yourself and say Hare Krishna. This will be the final yagya for today.
All right. Hare Krishna.
Jai. That was so devotional. Thank you, Narottam Nitai. Thanks, everyone. We love you. We need you. Come again tomorrow. Hare Krishna.